on this problem, we're supposed to find expressions in terms of step functions for these waveforms. So the unit step function, which is u of t, is the function that if t is less than 0, then this function has the value of 0. And when t is greater than 0, it has the value of 1. So that's why it's called the step function. So at 0, it just steps up. But then you can adjust this either in height or by where it steps by multiplying it. So if you multiply it on the outside, that's going to adjust its height, its altitude, and if you shift it left or right, then you can change where it makes that jump up. And so, for example, u of t plus 1 shifts the graph to the left by 1. So that would look like this. Whereas u of t minus 1 shifts the graph to the right by 1. So that's u of t minus 1. And then 5u of t rather than 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, rather than jumping to 1, when it gets to t equals 0, it jumps to 5. And so we're going to use those properties to make the graphs that we see here. So our first graph is just a step. Okay, so we can see that it steps up at -1 and it steps up by 4. So this one is going to be u of t, so it's shifted to the left by 1, so t plus 1, and then it's shifted, it goes up to 4, so we'll multiply it by 4 on the outside. So it's 4u of t plus 1. So that's the first one. And then this next one don't know why it pasted the function from before, but there it is. Okay, so we have this one, it's going down, so that would be just where we multiply by a negative, but it goes down and then it comes back up. So I like just reading these from left to right, and so you'll see what I mean by that as we create it. So it's going to start by being, it goes down by 2 at -2. So that would be -2 u of t plus 2, because it starts at -2. And then it stays there all the way, and then the next time we have a change is at t equals 2. And so where we have a change, I'm going to add something on here. And at that change, I go up by 2. So I look at what my change is. I don't look at where I'm going. I look at what the change is. I'm going up by 2. And so I'm going up by 2 from where I was before. So plus 2 u of t. And where does that happen? That happens at 2. So that'll be t minus 2. Okay, so this one has several changes. So we want to look at all the places where it changes. It changes at 0, at 2, at 3, let's see, at 0, at 2, and at 3. So we're going to be adding 3 different things together. So the first change is at 0. And so we're not translating it at all, but it is going up to 2, so that's just going to be 2u of t. And then the next change happens at 2, so we're going to say plus, and at 2 it goes up by another 2, so I'll have plus 2u of t. And where does this happen? It happens at a positive 2, so this will be t minus 2. And then my next change happens at 3. And what happens at 3? It goes up by another 2, so that'll be plus 2u of t, and it happened at positive 3, so t minus 3. Okay, ignore the green line there. That's not supposed to be there. So we look at the different changes here. We have changes that occur at 0, at 1, at 3, and at 4. And so that's going to be, we'll be adding, each time we get to a change, we add something on. And that's what I mean by reading from left to right. So our first change happens at 0, so that's u of t. But it's not u of t, it's 6u of t, because it goes up to 6. So we start with 6u of t. And then when we get to 1, we go down by 2. So that's going down by 2 is going to be minus 2. So that's the minus 2 is going down by 2, u. And then it's happening at positive 1, so that's t minus 1. And then the next change happens at 3. And at 3, it's going down by another 2, so that'll be minus 2u of t minus 3. And then the last change occurs at 4, and at 4, it's going down by another 2, so that's minus 2u of t minus 4. And if you look here, you can see that what we have is 6 minus 2 minus 2 minus 2. That gets you back down to 0, which is where we are by the time we get to t equals 4. So on this next one, we are going both up and down. Okay, alright, so we have changes happening at 0, 1, 3, and 4. So at 0, that's u of t, but it goes up to 2, so that's 2u of t. At 1, it goes up another 4, so plus, oh, I have been forgetting to check my answers. So if you, while you're watching this, if you think there's a mistake, please email me. I make lots of mistakes, so don't necessarily think that you're wrong. So, but I will check my answers from here out. Okay, so 4u of, now it's occurring at 1, t minus 1, so it's going up by 4. And then our next change happens at 3, and at 3 it's going down by 4, so that'd be minus 4 t, and that's happening at 3, so t minus 3. And then our last change occurs at 4, and at 4 it's going down 2, so minus 2 u, oh, this should have had a u here, 4u of t minus 3. And then the last one is minus 2 u of t minus 4. And let's see, that's 2 plus 4 is 6, minus 4 is 2, minus 2 is 0, so we're back where we started from. Changes at 0, 1, 3, and 4, so that looks good. Okay, and check my answer here. 2 of t plus 4 minus 4t, 3 minus, yep, looks good. All right. Okay, and our last one. So we have changes at 0, 1, 2, and 3. So at 0 we go up to 4, so that's 4u of t. At 1 we go down to negative 2, so we're going down a total of 6. So that's minus 6u of t minus 1. At 2 we go back up to 4, so that's back up 6, so plus 6u of t minus 2. And then at 3 we go down to 0 from 4, so we're going down 4, so minus 4u of t minus 3. T minus 6u t plus 6u t minus 3. Okay, yeah, so that looks good. Okay, so those are some unit step functions. And